Dear students, in this video we will be discussing about total energy stored in the combination of capacitors. So far we have seen that the energy stored in one capacitor when it is connected to a battery can be given by three expressions where we have total energy equals to 1 by 2 CV square, 1 by 2 Q square by C, 1 by 2 Q into V. So these are the three expressions for total energy stored in a capacitor. Okay. So right now, what is the situation? Suppose you have some combination of capacitors. This combination can be a series combination of capacitors or a parallel combination of capacitors. Now we need to see what would be the total amount of energy stored in a series combination of capacitors and what would be the total amount of energy stored in a parallel combination of capacitors. So let's have a look here. Suppose you have this as capacitor having capacity C1, one more capacitor having capacity C2, then there is one more capacitor having capacity C3. For the sake of convenience, I am just drawing three capacitors over here. There could be any number of capacitors, any n capacitors. Okay, so now if these capacitors are connected in series, okay, if these capacitors are connected in series like this, okay, so what would be the total amount of energy stored in this whole combination is the target of this topic. Okay. Now, of course, the total amount of energy stored. See, in series combination, only one amount of charge goes to all the three capacitors because charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. So, if plus Q charge is entering from the left hand side of the wire, so the same charge would be leaving from the right hand side of the wire. So what are we getting from this? That the total energy stored U will be equal to 1 upon 2 Q square upon CS, where CS refers to the overall capacitance in a series combination. See why I have used this expression only and not this expression and this expression. There are two reasons. Reason number one, because these two expressions involve potential difference, and we know that in series combination potential difference does not remain constant because every capacitor has its individual potential difference developed across its ends. So in order to avoid that chaos, we avoid these two expressions. And one other reason is, see, in series combination, the formula for capacitance is given by 1 by Cs is equals to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus so on. Okay, so I can see that 1 by C is involved in this expression only. So that's why due to these two reasons I am using this expression, because of course this would be the total amount of energy stored in this whole combination. Now, again I am writing total energy stored in the whole combination equals to 1 upon 2 Q square divided by CS. Now, Q square upon 2 can be written as it is, okay, and we are left with 1 by CS in the bracket, okay. So, Q square upon 2 as it is, 1 upon CS can be written as 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 plus so on. Clear? So it will be Q square divided by 2C1 plus q square divided by 2c2 plus q square divided by 2c3. Why I wrote so on? Because here I am deriving a general result for n capacitors plus so on. Now can you see something? See, we studied that energy of a capacitor has this expression, half C V square. It also has this expression, Q square upon 2C, and it also has this expression, half QV. So this is the expression for energy stored, and Q square upon 2C1. Don't you think this will be the energy stored in capacitor having capacity C1? Q square upon 2C2. Don't you think this would be the energy stored in the capacitor C2? And this would be the energy stored in the capacitor C3. Okay. So what are we getting? That U, this U is, this is U1 is equal to U1 plus U2 plus U3 plus so on. So do you know what you have proven? That in series combination of capacitors, the total energy stored is simply the sum of the energy stored in individual capacitors, as in U1 plus U2 plus U3 plus U4 and so on. Okay, and now we will be having a parallel combination of capacitors. In parallel combination of capacitors, we know that all the capacitors are connected like this. Their left plates are connected together and their right plates are connected together. So in this case, when we know that the capacitors are connected like this to a battery, then what amount of total energy will be stored in this combination? See again the same fact, that the energy is given by half CV square, Q square upon 2C and half QV. Okay, so now the concept is which expression will be representing the total energy stored in a parallel combination. Okay, so of course parallel combination में charge is not constant for all the three capacitors. Okay, because what happens if charge positive Q goes from here to here, then of course it would be distributed into three capacitors, as in Q1, Q2, Q3. Now the charge will be distributed amongst the three capacitors, so it is not something which is constant. So I cannot use the expressions which involve Q in parallel combination. So the total energy stored in this combination of capacitors will be given by U is equals to 1 upon 2 Cp V square. This is the total energy stored, where Cp is the total capacitance in a parallel combination and V is the total and common potential, kind of the which all the three capacitors are sharing. V is that potential difference that all the capacitors are sharing, because we know that in parallel combination potential difference remains the same, whereas charge distributes itself. Okay, so next concept is keep this 1 by 2 as it is. We know that the value of Cp is given by C1, C2, C3, so on, V square. Okay, so U is equals to 1 upon 2 C1 into V square plus 1 upon 2 C2 into V square plus so on. But don't you think that this is the energy of the first capacitor? Okay, this is the energy of the first capacitor. This is the energy of the second capacitor plus so on. So again the same result, that even if you would have some capacitors and you would connect them in a parallel combination, then the total energy stored in that combination will be equal to the sum of individual energy stored in all the three, or how many capacitors you are having, as many capacitors as you are having. Now, the next concept that we are going to study is the concept of energy density. Energy density means when the capacitors are connected to a battery and we know that some electrical work is done which would result into the storage of electrical energy. Now the question is, how much energy will be concentrated at a particular place? So that is energy density. Energy density means the energy per unit volume. So energy density is represented by small u. Okay, this is equal to total energy stored in unit volume. Total energy per unit volume. Now we know that total energy can be written as 1 upon 2 C V square, where C refers to the overall capacitance of the capacitor, V refers to the potential difference of the capacitor. And now the volume will be equal to area of cross section into distance of separation. The volume, okay, this is the capacitor, these are the two plates of the capacitors, and this space is actually the volume enclosed in between the capacitor. So this will be equal to area of cross section multiplied by the distance of separation. So after that, we know that if you have a parallel plate capacitor, its capacitance would be given by epsilon naught A divided by D. Okay, so what you will be left with? 1 upon 2 epsilon naught A V square divided by D into AD. Okay, and after that, we know that this V, which is the potential difference, can be written as electric field multiplied by distance of separation, because E is equals to dV upon dr, potential difference per unit length. Okay, so if the length is d here and potential difference is V here, so E is equals to V upon d, so V is equals to ED. Okay, so the energy density small u is equals to 1 upon 2 as it is, epsilon naught A, see A cancels, epsilon naught upon D square as it is, and in place of V square I am going to write ED whole square, because just now I have told you that V has the value equal to E into D. So in place of V I can write ED. So what is going to happen next? You can see here D square would be cancelled with D square, and this will be E square left over here because this was a whole square. So you will be left with an expression where you would observe that energy density small u is equals to 1 upon 2 epsilon naught E square. This is the value of energy density of a capacitor. Okay, and what would be its units? You need to know the units of energy density. Okay, see, you know that electric field 1 upon 2 epsilon naught is as it is. Electric field is often written as source charge divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, and we have whole square here. Clear? So what is going to happen next? We want the units. Otherwise also If you want to calculate the units by this way, okay, then you can calculate them. Otherwise also we have direct units. Electric field is equals to potential difference divided by D, or you can say that electric field is equals to force upon charge. So it is Newton per coulomb. Okay, so it is Newton square per coulomb square. And what about epsilon naught? Okay, about epsilon naught, if you don't remember the units, you know that F is equals to Q1 Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Take epsilon naught over here. Q1 Q2 divided by 4 pi FR square. 4 pi has no units, so this will be coulomb square per Newton meter square. I repeat, epsilon naught has the units coulomb square per Newton meter square multiplied by E square, which is Newton square per coulomb square. Now coulomb square cancel, Newton cancel. So energy density would have the units newtons per meter square. Also, there is one more direct unit. Since we have total energy per unit volume, total energy is measured in joules, volume is measured in meter cube, so it will be joules per meter cube. Okay, which can be written conveniently. Joules per meter cube will tell you that we are talking about energy as joules per unit volume per meter cube. So this is energy density. Okay, thank you.